All right, my friends, I hope you're prepared. What you're about to witness is what we call forensic journalism. This is an in-depth study of photos, reference points, interviews, and everything we have up to date involving the Trump assassination attempt. This will make the story far more black and white than anyone has brought to you thus far. I promise you that. And we bring the receipts and evidence. This has taken days to compile. And the story just shifted entirely. A new admission coming out that changes the entire narrative. And that is what we're going to be bringing you in just 1 minute. Now, before we get rolling into today's story, because I don't want to stop once we start, I want you to make sure you're subscribed to Lisa Haven's channel. Even if you think you are, double check. She'll put a link above to my channel. I'd love for you to click on it. You never know where this information appears. This story was so big, we chose to put it on Lisa's channel today. If you want to see both of us and you want to support us, and by the time this video is done, or right now, you appreciate the way we do journalism, your means of supporting us are over at restrictedrepublic.com. I need you there today. If you were there, you would have known a lot of this information prior. But nonetheless, you have the opportunity to get there right now, and I want you to get there right now. Restrictedrepublic.com. Use discount code INDEPENDENT. You can cancel anytime. But if you choose not to, I'm going to give you a discounted rate of $4 per month for 2 years, plus 14 days for free. Again, you can cancel whenever you want, but I promise once you're there, you'll go nowhere else for your news that matters, and that would mean the world to us. Please get there today. But now let's get on with this critical update. So as you've probably noticed, you probably still have some questions in your mind about what happened. You have been fed a series of either misinformation, lies, or just inaccuracies beyond anything I've ever seen, and I'm going to give you examples of each because it will feed to the larger narrative and the conclusion of this story. You see here, with 5.3 million views, the spokesman for the Secret Service, stating there's an untrue assertion that a member of the former president's team requested additional security resources and that those were rebuffed. This is absolutely false, he states. In fact, we added protective resources and technology and capabilities as part of the increased campaign travel tempo. Well, that was then. One of the many narratives that have crumbled. This on the Washington Post. Secret Service said to have denied request for security at Trump events. What a different story. But again, it just goes into feed to the continual misinformation that has been broadcast on this. So after repeatedly denying this, what was true, Guglielmi admitted to Washington Post that Trump was indeed denied beefed up protection. After receiving detailed questions from the Washington Post, he said, the agency had learned new information indicating the agency's headquarters may have in fact denied some requests for additional security for Trump's detail and was reviewing documentation to understand the specific interactions better. Does this surprise you? It shouldn't. It is gross negligence and incompetence that led to this disaster, but we're going to go much deeper than that. The security is so loose and so lax that it now is coming out that the shooter was able to fly a drone over the rally site just hours before the attempted assassination. How could that ever have been allowed? But it goes to feed into how this all occurred. The gunman at the Trump rally had a drone in the car, which we're going to come back to because I hope you realize there's two vehicles. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that in a second, but again, I want to do it all with receipts. The gunman who tried to kill Donald J. Trump was able to fly a drone and get aerial footage of the Western Pennsylvania Fairground shortly before the former president was set to speak. Law enforcement officials briefed on the matter said further underscoring the stunning security lapses ahead of Trump's near assassination. Stunning? That's beyond an understatement. We now have confirmed reports that he was a member of the Clareton Sportsman Club. We know that. In this Time article, what we know and don't know. Well, turns out we really didn't know much in the beginning, but we pieced together so much of this over a week ago. Jamison Murphy, another former classmate, told the New York Post that Crooks was such a comically bad shot. He was unable to make the team and left after the first day. Another classman told the Post that the rifle team coach had concerns about Crooks based on some crass jokes, but lower it states. Crooks did, however, belonged to a local gun club, declared a sportsman club, which had a 200-yard rifle range among its facility. The club confirmed Crook's membership in a statement provided to multiple media outlets, just confirming and bringing the receipts to make this, again, very black and white. But now here is one of the major anomalies that will be left open after this broadcast because enough evidence has not been presented. But one of the most critical things I've seen to date. If you remember, early reports reported, and you see here on Fox News, police combed through Thomas Matthew Crook's van to hit explosives. You see there on your screen the van being inspected. But that story also changed now, didn't it? Or did it? Because going down in the article, there is further information which says something entirely different. Law enforcement combed through a white van believed to have been used by Thomas Matthew Crooks after he nearly assassinated former President Trump, the video shows. Officers found explosives, including an improvised explosive device, inside the van. Now, they also found explosive devices inside a second vehicle, didn't they? Back to the Time magazine article. Going down in the article, it states, the FBI said that when it searched Crook's home and vehicle to collect additional evidence, suspicious devices were found and have since been rendered safe by bomb technicians. According to CNN, investigators found a bulletproof vest, 3 fully loaded magazines, and 2 remote-controlled explosives in his car, the infamous Hyundai Sonata. So what does that spell to you? It is one of the inaccuracies. Unfortunately, at the time of this report, I can't clear yet, but more information will follow the moment it does because it is critical that we understand that. But another story has fallen apart, hasn't it? Local cop confronted would-be Trump assassin Thomas Matthew Crooks on the roof moments before he opened fire. Witnesses denying this account, talking against it. I saw him, the sniper, right before the shots happened, and didn't see him turn around and confront anyone. We've heard an officer climbed a ladder. We heard an officer was on another officer's shoulder, fell 8 feet down, but it appears the witnesses did not see that. I never saw that, and it didn't happen. We asked the people all around us and in our group, and we didn't see that. I heard the story about the officer falling and hurting his foot. No one saw that. And when I show you the maps, ground level footage, you'll start to see why this is going to be called into question further. But they did see, however, and critical to this story, I could see that they saw him and were looking at him and watching what he was doing. The guys on the second story, the windows, where either a counter sniper team, or law enforcement officials were located. That is where we're going to dig in extremely deep on this broadcast. Local officer climbed to the roof, confronted Crooks moments before the shooting because those police were stationed in the building where the gunman shot Trump from. But in the building or next to the building is where the story takes a major twist. You see here a map of a second floor open sniper window. I'm going to show you ground level footage of this. And it will call into question exactly how Crooks got on that roof. It's, again, more black and white than most have reported to you. The latter story itself is crumbling. Chilling photo of would-be Trump shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks taken by sniper nearly an hour before attempted assassination. In the article, it states one of the final photos of would-be assassin Thomas Matthew Crooks show the 20-year-old gunman crawling on the ground and seemingly scoping out a spot from which to shoot at former President Donald Trump nearly 1 hour before the attack. The photo was taken around 5:30 by a local counter sniper, and it was sent to law enforcement, but again, nobody did anything. I'm going to not talk about that narrative because I think it's been over-talked about. We all know they didn't do anything, and they didn't do what was necessary. But this photo here is especially relevant because it leads to the timeline of when we have footage of Thomas Matthew Crooks walking behind the crowd and the direction he goes and where that piece of concrete is that he was photographed on, because it confirms that the local counter sniper was in the window just above him. I can't tell you how critical that detail is. That concrete, wall, it turns out to be, because to the left you see the wall drops off. And there's a reason, because there's an AC unit buried into the ground slightly. Now we're going to start getting more specific here. You see where I circled on the screen, I believe that photo was taken. and it would give Thomas Matthew Crooks a good sight line to where Donald J. Trump was. I believe that the man who took the picture was in one of these windows, looking down, shooting the photo, sending it to law enforcement, and no one does anything. But that's a problem, because these windows are open, and I will show you that. And you could see how many sight lines they would have had to this shooter. The biggest question to date. Give you another angle of this, where that wall is. This is all going through Google Earth, showing you in real time what we believe occurred. You see where Thomas Matthew Crooks was located. You see the sight lines that they would have had to him. Now, why didn't they take action? Nobody may ever know, but let's go a bit further. We're going to drop into the scene itself. And you'll see there, I dropped to the building, and if you look right there, is that cement wall, which is going to take center focus here in a moment, where I believe that this photo was taken. And I'll tell you why I believe that in just a moment. A shooting range, a gun store, and a ladder purchase. Well, what if he didn't use the ladder? Reports coming out that he didn't. The ladder was supposed to be positioned, and I'll just draw it on your screen, which you all know, supposed to be positioned here. There was some argument that he jumped up on this, well, storage unit, which wouldn't have held him, but I believe it's actually irrelevant. And I'll show you why. 1 hour before the shooting, Thomas Matthew Crooks in your screen. And you'll see him right here. And why is this relevant? Because I'm going to show you ground level photos of exactly where he's standing. And watch the direction. I'm just going to mute this very quickly, get this out of the way. Sorry, folks. Some of this you're going to have to deal with it while I get through staging all this a little bit further. So you watch everybody see, a few people see him, spot him back there. Look which direction he walks. Allegedly the gunman, which would make sense because there is the location. The same metal roof he is found on top of. The location of that clip. And let me go backwards just a touch for you. Right there, you see the two stacks that go up the building. Those two stacks are located right here. Now he was walking towards the direction of the arrow when that footage stopped, which would have led him around this way to the building and to the air conditioning unit that so many are reporting he utilized to climb up to the roof. That cement wall and that photo taken right here. And this is just slowing down a little bit so we can see this together. There's the AC unit, and there was the walk he took, again showing you. Get that out of the way. Right here where many believe he entered, and that footage that was taken just before the shooting goes to substantiate that. Also critical in that footage, it doesn't appear he's wearing a backpack or holding anything. So was the gun positioned by that AC unit already? Remember, he flew a drone over the site just hours before. The photo taken about an hour prior. But nobody saw a gun. So we'll continue to move forward. That AC unit, as I pointed out to you, the local officer climbed the roof. And there is potential for that. Because this is just before it happened, and you see the onlooker looking to that metal roof. You see the wall come into focus right through where the squared area is. You see it drops off. It would make sense. The photo would have been taken from here. You see all these windows are open. It's going to clear it out once so you get a good picture, and then show you again all the windows open. They believe there was a team up there. Witnesses say there was a team of officers. They were wondering why they weren't taking action. Onlooker looking to Thomas Crooks, and there is 2 law enforcement officials coming up. Could they have gotten on each other's shoulders at that height? It appears it's possible. Extremely probable. There's the location of where Thomas Matthew Crooks was, and there is the indentation. But let's move forward a little bit further. Where he was located, and the window also open. The window looking directly at Thomas Matthew Crooks after he was shot. But him being shot is where the next story comes into focus. But there had to be body cam footage, right? Folks, I can't believe I'm going to report to you while Tom Fitton tell it for us.
The Butler County Sheriff's Department told us that responding officers and those there did not have body cam footage, and they're obviously responding to the rest of our requests.
Hence why we have no photos. Allegedly, body cam footage not on. When you allowed someone this close, the roof we've been discussing, how he got up there, I think much clearer now. But there's one story before we get to the final conclusion here that we have to clean up a little bit. The water tower story. Some alleging a second shooter was on the water tower. Going off of footage and many narratives coming out, Chris Martinson here, the narrative of Crooks being a lone gunman is 100% probably false. And why does he state that? He states that because of audio. Audio, by the way, this 3 shots. This coming out from CNN on July 15th. Audio forensics suggests as many as 3 weapons fired at the Trump rally, and I'm here to tell you they were correct. There was 3 shooters. The first 3 shots were consistent with alleged weapon A. The next 5 were consistent with alleged weapon B. I believe they're wrong in that statement. I'll tell you why in a moment. And the final acoustic impulse was emitted by a possible weapon C. They have the count right of 9 shots, but they don't have the breakdown correct. And of course, that fed further conspiracy about a second shooter on the water tower coming off of this video. What was framing into that conspiracy? Now, again, we can't be sure there wasn't someone standing up there, but I'm going to show you something in a moment that will diffuse a portion of that story.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
I'm going to pause it there for a moment. Some saying they saw a muzzle blast. Some saying they saw somebody standing up there. The only trouble I have with that story as of right now is the fact of where the shadow is on the water tower and where the shadow is on the top of the water tower are somewhat consistent. Some stating they saw muzzle and smoke, muzzle blast, and smoke rising. It also could be very poor pixelation as the camera attempted to focus itself. That story may develop further, but more evidence. I find 9 shots, at least 1 that does not line up with the shooter's distance at all, which he would be accurate, except it's 2 that don't line up with where the shooter was at. We reported this almost immediately. A visual timeline of the Trump rally shooting going to, again, the 2 sniper teams you see circled on your screen, here and here. Location of the shooter. And this feeds in to the 3 shooters. Online post falsely claimed sharpshooter was told not to fire on suspected Trump shooting. Later said he didn't fire at all, but that was inaccurate. Because if you followed us on Restricted Republican, here, let me read this first. Brian Linus, a source familiar with the investigation, tells me a United States Secret Service counter sniper took the shot that killed Thomas Crooks. He could only see Crooks' scope in the top of his eye, forehead because of the lip of the roof. The source described the shot to me as a 1 in a million shot. Another shot was taken by local sniper teams, but that one missed. The shot was not taken by the counter sniper team photographed that day. Reports later saying he never shot at all, but we showed you a clip.
A couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
I don't know how much clearer it could have been that that sniper took a shot, because he did. But so did the other team. The team, it's located on your screen here. The team that reportedly took 1 shot, that 1 in a million shot, after the local sniper team missed, which would be 2 shots. Now they've gone further. Local officer fired a Trump gunman as gunshots rang out, finally being confirmed again. 3 shooters, Thomas Matthew Crooks, 2 sniper teams. A source familiar with the investigation tells me that, look, it took a single shot to kill the would-be assassin, Thomas Crooks, and that shot came from a Secret Service counter sniper that sources say he described the shot as 1 in a million type of shot. The counter sniper could only see the top of the scope, his eye and forehead, because the lip of the AGR building that Crooks was on was obscuring that view. We're also told by a local police sniper that a local police sniper took a single shot as well, but missed. 2 single shots. Numbers matter, facts matter. Facts matter of where everyone was located. Facts matter. And I'm going to let you watch this in the background as we talk through, because there is video evidence of that machinery getting hit by the bullets afterwards. And when you count the amount of bullets coming out, there is 7. Shot 1, the one that struck Trump's ear, and then it appears struck an audience member behind him. Evidence of that person falling backwards. As sad as that is. 2 more shots, followed by the next foray of bullets that come in, totaling here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots. 2 from the sniper, equaling 9. How did Thomas Matthew Crooks get on the building? I've now shown you exactly where he walked moments prior to firing off those bullets. The open question: 2 vehicles, 1 van, 1 Hyundai Sonata. Were both Thomas Matthew Crooks is the question that remains open. Was this an egregious error of law enforcement and the Secret Service? It was. How could anyone take a photo of a would-be assassin just moments before, from 40 feet away, have access to that same window, and not stop him moments before he fired that bullet within a fraction of an inch of Trump's head? My friends, I hope this really clarifies this story for you. There was 3 shooters, a drone flown by the assailant, the water tower story, although there may be some further vetting. Don't believe there was a shooter there. Maybe somebody watching, maybe somebody spotting. We don't know yet. I will bring it to you when we find out. But that one photo tells you everything you need to know. And the one clip of Thomas Matthew Crooks walking in the background towards that air conditioner unit to crawl up on a roof, of which there is a team of people allegedly in the building, onlookers reporting that they're wondering why they were not taking action as Thomas Matthew Crooks took and fired those bullets at Trump and into the crowd. And this entire disaster, as we know now, could have been entirely averted. I hope that helps clear up this story, which could be confusing when you see the amount of misinformation that has been fed to you. But that is the way this unfortunately always unfolds. Take a deep breath, get the receipts, and let's bring the truth of the matter. I look forward to your comments below. Thank you so much for being here today. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.